Hello, mis amores. Today I thought would be a great day to combine media and cooking again. Also, today is a great day to appreciate that some of our flowers from last week are still alive. So they get to live in the background of this video for another week. I love these flowers. What are they called? They look like paper. Smell like plastic. Maybe that's how they're still alive. Months ago, years, I don't know, I started recreating foods from books. This time I thought we were gonna move on to TV shows, but not really recreate foods that are in the show. Actually, not thinking about it, we kind of will be doing that. But the task I set upon myself for this video was to think what my favorite TV show characters would like, would eat, would love to eat, what their favorite meals are. And so we're gonna make them. Episode 1 of this new series, I don't know if it's gonna be a series, is relatively tame because my favorite TV show characters are pretty tame, I would say. But also mainly because, maybe I should have thought more about characters. Because going into this, I was like, oh, this is so easy. I'm just gonna go with my favorite TV shows and then choose my favorite characters from that TV show. But that doesn't mean that other characters from other shows, which the shows might be bad, but the characters can be great and my favorite, I guess. But I didn't think that far. Actually, I think they might be my favorite in general. Je ne sais pas. But what I am sensing already is that I need some energy in me. So we're gonna make a coffee and then we get started with recipe number 1. And while I make that coffee, you guys can think about who your favorite TV show characters are or character is and tell me. And while I wait, spoiler alert, I'm gonna open this big bag. Hopefully they're good. Love. Okay, chips too good, I got distracted. Are they good or are they just salty? That's the question. We're gonna start off strong. One of my all-time favorite TV shows is One Tree Hill. Said it a couple of times in this channel. I don't think there will ever be a show that'll make me feel the way this show does. And my favorite character from that show has always and will always be Haley James later Scott. Haley Bob, because she makes bobs. I wear a halo, I wear a halo when you look at me. That really was a bob. Just a couple of months ago, I listened to it on repeat for days, unironically. Oh no! Actually, no. I just thought of another recipe for her, but then I remembered it was with chicken. I don't eat chicken. We're gonna go with something else. Here comes my dilemma though, because she basically in the show said that this is the food of the gods, which makes me think that it's her favorite thing to eat. So I had a hard time thinking of anything else. But technically, it's not really a meal that I would associate with her. If she says that she loves it, who am I to judge? Anyway, the full quote goes,
dude, macaroni and cheese is food of the gods.
Yeah, the gods are 5-year-olds.
Mac and cheese.
Food of the gods. Hopefully I can come up with some very Haley twists, even if it's just me singing the recipe, because I think that's what she'd be doing. I feel like she'd definitely be a ketchup kind of girl. And also mustard. I don't think that's super typical, except for in Rihanna's recipe. Let's get to it while eating more chips. For starters, no, not for starters, it's the main course. I've already cooked some macaroni. Ta-da! 500 grams. That's a lie because I only cooked 250. Ooh, wrong TV show. Well, actually, never mind. Hold on. Shh. I just realized today we're gonna be making a lot of cheese sauces. Cook the pasta, done. Now we gotta make the roux, Paul. Super queen, super. Why can I not think of a RuPaul song? to the moon. Ooh, saved myself from elimination. This makes a bit of sense, this recipe though, because at its core, this show is like very American. It is very Southern state American also, which I've only really noticed in like recent rewatches. Yes, there have been multiple. Obviously, like back in the day, when did I first start watching it? Probably when I was, I don't know, 12, back when I should not have been watching that show. Obviously, I didn't really like notice how Southern it was. Oh, should I tell y'all what it's about anyway? It's like the best TV show, so you guys should know. Unless you've grown up watching like shit like Vampire Diaries, then I can't help you. Let me tell you what else you need. Technically 5 tablespoons of butter. One of them we're gonna need later to top it all off. 4 tablespoons of all-purpose flour. 3 cups of whole milk. 1 cup of heavy cream. We're gonna add 1 teaspoon of mustard. We're gonna add a little bit of garlic powder and onion powder, salt and pepper, maybe a little bit of cayenne pepper as well, because Haley can be a little spicy.
It's not funny.
If you're looking for a black eye, it's in my fist. Said you would never do.
That is for getting me fired. And that is for trying to sleep with my husband.
I'm trying to perfect my Katniss Everdeen stare, elevator stare. Don't look. No, spoiler. Here comes the cheese. 2 cups of cheddar. 1 cup of mozzarella. 1 cup of Gruyere. Later, we're gonna need half a cup of Parmesan if you wanna top it and put it into the oven later, which then we're gonna top it off with that 1 tablespoon of butter, half a cup of breadcrumbs, and maybe a little bit of parsley. But I didn't buy it, so probably not. Now, let's finally make the RuPaul and go over here. Watching butter melt. How beautiful. Life doesn't get better than this. For those of you who did watch One Tree Hill, who was your favorite character? And why was it Brooke Davis? Because I feel like most of you will say Brooke Davis. Anyway, let's add the flour and stir for like 1 to 2 minutes to get rid of the raw flour taste. Gradually whisk in the milk and cream. Oops. Bring to a simmer and cook until slightly thickened. About 5 minutes. Wow. Alright, a good 5 minutes are over. So now we can season it. Pepper. I'm only gonna add a little bit of salt. I think Haley likes it garlicky because she doesn't mind kissing Nathan with a garlic breath. Onion powder. And guys, don't forget the mustard. I'm gonna add quite a bit. I think she likes it. Do I want to add ketchup? I feel like she's a ketchup kind of girl. I'm gonna do it. Now we're gonna lower the heat and start adding the cheeses. Cheddar. That is mozzarella. All of the 3 recipes we're making today are cheesy. And then of course the Gruyere. No flavor, love it. But it looks good. Now that it's smooth and melty, we can just add the pasta. Wow, that's a lot of sauce. Now back to where we came from. A baking dish, how beautiful. And I've also buttered it. Well, I mean, you could eat it like that. No, we wanna bake this. For that, we're gonna melt a tablespoon of butter that we're now gonna mix with the breadcrumbs. La 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 la. Gonna sprinkle the breadcrumbs on top. And then we just top it off with some parm. Ta-da! Done. Now we bake it at 190 Celsius for 15 to 20 minutos. Mac and cheese, food of the gods. Mac and cheese is just something that has been with her throughout the entire series, really. There are a couple of instances where she says mac and cheese, food of the gods, from season 1 up to season 9. Yes, there were 9 seasons. Almost all of like 22, 23, 24 episodes. So yes, we actually had character development and plot development, filler episodes that were needed, necessary. We had all of it. Good TV. Anywho, I think my mac and cheese looks very mac and cheesy. Food of the gods. I've made mac and cheese a couple of times on this channel, but I've never made it with like the breadcrumbs topping, which I think are actually quite typical, right? Oh my, no. The breadcrumbs look pale in the camera though. They're not pale in person, just like me. I'm not pale in person. I'm pale on camera. That's why I usually amp up the saturation a little too much until I look orange. Let's try the food of the gods. My god is Haley James Scott, really. Because she'll always be there for me, even when the stars go blue. I feel like it could do with 5 minutes more in the oven. Maybe I will put it back in. Oh, look at that creamy sauce. I really have no idea what makes a great mac and cheese. Let's channel our inner Haley James Scott. We were a Tudor girl, we were loners, we were outsiders. Then we married at 17 years old, got pregnant while in high school. Spoiler, 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 spoilers, spoiler, spoilers. Go watch season 7 of One Tree Hill, that's my favorite. Cheers. Mac and cheese, food of the gods. Oh no! That's not very Haley-like. Ooh. Is it lady-like to say that shit I wanna say? But I feel like Haley would always have a quick solution to get rid of the stain. Don't worry guys, I've got this teeny tiny tub in another color. Simple but really good. That's not all with Haley James Scott. Haley James Scott loves a dessert. She loves herself some ice cream. She said a couple of times, I think. And her favorite ice cream is actually one that her husband does not like very much, but it is mint chocolate chip.
Do you remember this? When I brought back mint chocolate chip and you asked why I thought that was your favorite, I was so confused. Anytime we had gotten ice cream together, that's what you always chose, but you told me Rocky Road was your favorite. And you looked at me so tenderly, Nathan, and you said you always chose mint chocolate chip because you knew it was my favorite flavor.
And I actually got it here in Germany because mint isn't too popular in sweets in Germany. Most people prefer it in their toothpaste and only in their toothpaste. But I'm so happy because I really like mint, actually. I like minty chocolate and stuff. Let's try it, guys, because we're Haley James Scott and I can sing now because I'm Haley James Scott. She actually has a really beautiful voice. Yeah, I like that. I do like that. Do I get chocolate even? Maybe it would be smarter to have chocolate ice cream with mint flavor. But yeah, Haley, you're onto something here. Also, I think this is great date dessert because then you've got a bit of a minty breath, which is nice for dates. Now let's move on to our next character. A couple of years after my favorite show is finished, I found a new favorite show. This Is Us. Actually, we don't talk about This Is Us, we talk about the character. My favorite character from This Is Us is Beth Pearson, because I love her. She is great, she is funny, which is what I love about her. She's very witty as well. I really, really love how honest she is still. Like, she knows when to turn up the humor, but she also knows when to speak her mind, and that is very inspirational, I think. She was like always the smartest one in the TV show. I feel like she had it all figured out, even though she really didn't. So thinking of a recipe for Beth was hard until it wasn't, because I think she's also one to indulge a little, because otherwise I probably would have just made yogurt, like a breakfast with yogurt, because I think she has that like every day. I then thought of one of my favorite episodes. I think it's called R&B, which I'm already sold, but it's actually just the initials of Beth and Randall, the couple of all couples. I think I've never rooted for a couple more than I did for them. At the same time, I was never worried that they weren't gonna make it. That episode was mainly about them and their history and stuff, so that's why I loved it so much. And thinking of that episode, I also remember that scene of them in the middle of the night eating some cheesy nachos.
You want to know what my idea of the perfect date is? It's nachos. It's ginger beer and nachos.
Guys, since we're being very cheesy, I thought we're gonna make some nice cheesy nachos that, you know, we're gonna spice up a little bit here and there. Maybe some smoky paprika, some cayenne pepper that we didn't put in our other cheese sauce to make it a little bit more Bethy. And for that, we're obviously gonna have to make another cheese sauce, which I didn't even know, like, it just happened. We don't really use mozzarella, even though I added a bit of mozzarella into 2 cups of cheddar and 1 cup of Gruyere. Yeah, then I'll just see when the roux is done. The roux. Okay, my memory card was full, so let's just say our roux is like very stiff now. And the cheese. Consistency is a little bit off. It is very slimy. Now let's Bethify this with a little bit of smoked paprika. Not too much because I personally don't really like it very smoky. Some cayenne pepper, some black pepper, ooh, or a lot. And some salt. More cayenne pepper and also more smoked paprika. Do I want to add a bit of cumin as well? I feel like she would. And also I would because I love cumin. Alright, that is done. Very weird, but done. So we can get ready for the oven already. Ready already. We're gonna start with some tortilla chips. Spread them out. Here I've got some black beans and some corn underneath, which we're gonna layer on top. Yeah. I love it already. I just wanna layer it with our cheese sauce. Yeah. Now we bake this for 8 to 10 minutes until hot and bubbly. My loves, it's Randall and Beth time, but mainly Beth because I didn't buy ginger beer. Anyway, our nachos are done. Maybe overdone. Maybe they were in there for like 2 minutes too long, but it's fine. Some cherry tomatoes, some red onion, yeah. Technically some avocado, but this is an avocado stone. I don't want to open this one yet. So no avocado for us tonight, Beth. But of course, we are gonna add some lime. And then, because it's Beth and she loves yogurt, instead of using like sour cream or so, we're gonna use some Greek yogurt. I mean, that's not very pretty. I was gonna drizzle it on top, but flecks are nice as well. You know, cows used to be my favorite animal, and they have flecks. And then if you want to, just a bit of cilantro. I feel like Beth would love cilantro. This looks like something you'd get at a restaurant, right? Beautiful. Let's dive in before it gets cold. Just gonna go straight into the middle and say cheers, you queers. No one's queer. Actually, someone is on that show. Imagine someone making this for you at like 3 a.m. That's such a great late night snack. I mean, not really a snack, is it? My tummy is filled to the brim and I'm still enjoying this, so. Oh, the cheese sauce is actually really nice. The smokiness of it. Oh, Beth, you rock. I knew you were my favorite for a reason, even though I chose the recipe. I'm actually really full, but I can't stop, but I should. Especially because we've got one more thing to try. And we're actually not even gonna leave the This Is Us universe. You know, B doesn't go without R. I have to fulfill the R and B. Yeah, Randall is also one of my favorite characters because it's so complex. I don't know, really, I just wanted to try this one thing that they had on the show or have every year for Thanksgiving. One year, they got stranded in a little hut. Obviously, they didn't have Thanksgiving dinner there, so they went to the gas station and their beloved father had the great idea to make something out of nothing. What was born were the Thanksgiving cheese dogs by the Pearsons. They just took everything they had at the gas station and I guess they didn't have bread. So what they did...
We are going to skewer our hot dogs.
I've got some veggie dogs.
We're gonna roast them on an open furnace flame.
I don't have a fire, so we're just gonna put them into the oven.
And then once they get all toasty and warm, we're gonna wrap it in cheese.
Oops. Why are they barely hot?
And then roll it in crushed up crackers.
So now we can do this. Yeah.
Thanksgiving cheese dogs.
You know what? Like they did look a little bit better maybe, but it's all in the eye of the beholder. It was more so a feeling, the gesture, the community of it all. Let's try our Thanksgiving cheese dogs. Actually, singular. You want one too? I made one for you.
No.
It's a Thanksgiving cheese dog. You know what? This might be the saltiest thing I've ever eaten. Wow, the hot dogs are so salty. I don't know why it's cold already, But if it was hot, or warm at least, I can see this. Ever since that Thanksgiving, this was a staple in their household. And especially Randall's, because Randall is obsessed with Thanksgiving. Because again, Thanksgiving is like there are reasons why, but it is very important for that family. And he kind of keeps that spirit alive. And also has Thanksgiving cheese dogs. I can see why. They don't taste bad, and then also paired with like memories. But man, this is salty. Why am I still eating? I'm so full. Saving this for later. Yay. All right, everyone. This brings us to the end of this experience. Yeah, in hindsight, I could have been more creative, but there's always room to the top. I do have some more favorite characters. I just can't think of anyone right now. Apparently, my favorite characters are just all really into cheese. Thank you for watching this one, though. Hope you enjoyed it. Again, tell me who your favorite TV show characters are. Not movies, TV shows. And also if they are from your favorite TV show. Or if they're like separate. Already said thank you, so I'm gonna go. Don't cry too much. Nos vemos la próxima vez. Y... Tschüss.